grew up in a Christian home. My parents were awesome and super supportive of me throughout my childhood. I learned from a young age what it looked like to be a Christian, and I was really involved with my church, and my minister explained to me in elementary school that I am a sinner, and God sent Jesus to die for me and for my sins so that I would be able to know God and have a relationship with Him. I knew instantly that I wanted that relationship and asked the Lord to come into my heart. In middle school, I was still living in my own perfect world. I thank the Lord every day for blessing my life. In 7th grade, I made the decision to be confirmed into my church, and for the first time made a public declaration that Jesus is my Savior, and I want to live my life for Him. My world was rocked in 8th grade. My dad, who was my hero, woke up one morning and told my mom that he didn't love her anymore. Just like that, with no warning, and completely out of nowhere. I didn't know what to do. I was so ashamed and I felt so alone. I didn't tell my friends, and at 14 I fell into a depression. I prayed to God constantly to fix my family and to fix my life. Little did I know that His version of fixing and my version were completely different. Freshman year, I came home from school one day to find out that my dad had moved out of our house without telling me. I was so angry. I could not understand how or why my dad would do this. He had changed so much. He went from being one of the people I looked up to the most to being a person I could hardly look at without crying. Things got hard when my mom discovered that he had had an affair, and he was living a completely hidden second life. He even was playing the role of a father to 2 other children while he was completely absent in my life. Our relationship started deteriorating. That summer, I went on a chrysalis flight, which is a type of Christian retreat. It was completely mind-blowing, and for the first time in a while, I could feel the Lord's comfort again. I took a sticky note that weekend and wrote a single word on it, Dad. I nailed it to a cross, and then later I watched as it burned in a fire. I felt such a relief. After several extremely hard months, I was finally able to give the Lord complete control over the situation with my dad. This is also the time when I began realizing and admitting my greatest struggle. Letting the Lord have complete control over my life. Not most of the control, but all of it. God blessed me with a share group my sophomore year, where I was encouraged in my faith from other girls. That April, I was surprised to have my dad come to a crew meet I was rowing in. Our conversation was distant, because by then we were hardly even speaking. I didn't know at the time, but it would be the last time I would ever see my dad. At the end of May that year, we got a call one night telling us that he had passed away. The pain of losing him for the second time was unbearable. There were so many things wrong with our relationship, and I no longer had the chance to talk to him about it. I turned to God for comfort, for answers, and for peace. Immediately, I was able to forgive my dad, something I struggled so much with when he was alive. But again, I was so overwhelmed with grief and loss. At the beginning of my junior year, I finally gave the whole situation to God. He had complete control, and I again decided to trust Him with my dad, my family, and my life. Since then, my family has gone through many other issues: death, separation, disease. Through every situation put into my life, it is a constant battle for me to let God have control of it. My sinful nature always wants to hold back from God, but Jesus is my Savior. My comfort comes from Jesus. Every day, I make the decision to wake up and to live for Him. Last year, I was struggling for a month or so. Katie Grote and Abby Martin shared a verse with me at the most perfect moment. John 16:33 says, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. In this world you will have struggles, but Jesus died for us on the cross. He has already lived through and overcome all of the pain that we will ever have on earth. He loves us so much. I like to think of my testimony like this. I am terrified of heights, but I love roller coasters. Once the coaster is moving, I have comfort in knowing that it's in control and that I'm going to be okay. That's a perfect parallel of my walk with Jesus. I was terrified of that first hill or situation, but when I finally lifted my hands and let Jesus take it, I was free.